everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Buster Green, and these are my weekly review reaction videos to the new Kamen Rider anime, FUUTO PI. Kind of an after show if you've watched the anime already, and this week we're up to episode 9. Also, I need to let everyone know, anyone who likes my channel, who digs my work, please subscribe. I only need 75 subscribers to get monetized, and once I'm monetized, in the future I will be releasing my own very cool original video anime on this channel, in the event that I am eventually monetized. Otherwise, I'll have to release it through like Amazon Prime or something. So help me out, guys. Please monetize me. This anime I'm working on is really, really cool. I've been working on it for 3 years. Anyway, let's get into that Kamen Rider stuff. Spoilers ahead. So episode 8 was a major turning point for the series, as the final bosses started to finally crawl out of the woodwork and attack our heroes. Now, the review board going into episode 9 is exactly the same as it was in episode 8, except now the supporting cast has been added in there. The Scream Dopant is on the bottom, and the Geisha Girl has been fully updated to dead. We also go to Kaorito, and because she just died in the last episode, she gets updated to dead too. I will be fully impressed if China Dress Girl survives this last episode, and there's still that potential marriage up in the air. But I'm assuming that no one will marry him at this point, because this whole thing has gone just so convoluted. Alright, so we find out that the Gaia Memories Master at the start of the episode turns out to be... Oh, god damn, it's the friggin' grandmother! Ugh, I knew it! She was so suspicious and a big potential suspect from the start. I didn't expect they'd actually pull that one out from under the rug, but damn. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I did expect it a few times. Flashbacks, please. There is a low possibility it could be his grandmother, but I would be shocked if it was his grandmother. That would be such a massive screwball, and I'm not sure if Kamen Rider or really any anime can ever justify beating up an old lady who's not like a wicked witch or something. Wow, so yeah, I'm shocked. Also, extra misdirectory. At the end of the last episode, it looked like they were going into a room with Aurora, but I guess it was just Kagami no Kuya because they're both wearing white suits. Okay, then hold up. Does that mean the grandmother is actually part of a museum? Ooh, so much intrigue going on. Okay, well, goddamn, here's the opening credits, and I just have so many unanswered questions now. Screw it. I'm gonna play the opening credits this time. It's a good song, and I kind of missed that I skipped it over the last week. I just love FUUTO so much. Okay, so let's start off with Kuya. Now, Kuya did not know his grandmother was a dopant and was pulling all this shit. So he literally switches sides to the good guy side to show he's a good guy. It's like so metaphorically literal. Wow. Okay, so anyway, yeah, the grandmother starts getting more and more evil by the second. She calls out Shotaro and Phil for being Kamen Rider, which is very like old school. I'm gonna get you, Kamen Rider. And then bizarrely, she mentions that she personally has a connection with Philip because she met him when he was a child. And there's a whole flashback to that, but then it turns out that after the fact she got very buddy-buddy with Museum. She used them as a source of cash, let them use her land, and she made various deals with them to keep her old money family going. So then the grandmother declares herself to be a robber and a murderer, and her grandson demands an explanation of what the hell is going on. The grandmother levels that she is the alcohol dopant. She's been the alcohol dopant for a while, and she's been using her dopant superpowers to defend the family and the family assets. Unfortunately, she knew her time was about to run out, and she knew that since she was about to die, she had to find him a wife, and it also turned out that she wasn't just finding him a wife, she was finding him a new monster, because the monster protecting the family was like such an important thing to the family's success. So all these women in this contest were not just potential wives, but potential monsters, because they need this monster to defend this family, and this is fucking twisted as hell. It's like ironic because this was like actually a contest to find the best wife, but also the best monster. And thinking about the contest again that way, it was probably Kaorito. She seemed most versatile in using the alcohol memory. They probably just should have let her know that alcohol in hot tub is lethal. By the way, that's a legitimate fact. I looked it up. Like, don't drink and use a hot tub. You will die. Anyway, so this ends up being a pretty fucked up situation since the grandmother means well. It's just she's a fucking dopant monster. Oh, and she has fucking telekinesis, so look out, Shotaro. Now, the grandmother says that since she used the Gaia memory for years without getting caught, she developed these like permanent superpowers. Now, FUUTO PIs has thrown out a lot of crazy random statements in the past couple episodes, but okay, I'm just going to give them this one, because sure, why not? Now, apparently the grandmother is this high-do concept that Aurora was describing before, and you can either reach this concept by using these drugs he made, or just maintaining the use of a single Gaia memory constantly for an extended period of time, which is what the grandmother did. Oh, and Tokumi is completely familiar with the term, which is suspicious. Anyway, so the grandmother transforms into the alcohol dopant, and she seems to be a denser, larger version of this dopant with a half-bloody eye. Now, in the previous moments when the girl showed up with the bloody eye, they died. So maybe the half-bloody eye means she's about to die or she's close to death from the start. Anyway, so Kamen Rider henshins and then they just go full speed at each other. But yeah, the fact she has telekinesis makes it rough. And Philip notes that she is way stronger than Kei Arito as the alcohol dopant. So W, with no further choice to move forward, calls down the extreme memory from outer space. Why was it in outer space? I don't know, I don't remember, I didn't know it was up there. Anyway, it absorbs Philip's body and holy shit, Kamen Rider Extreme is back. So why'd y'all tell me Kamen Rider Extreme was destroyed? Like, did people tell me that? Did I just imagine that? Anyway, it's back now, and it's good to see Extreme back with all his full powers. So Extreme immediately uses the Prism Memory, Cyclone, Joker, Metal, and Trigger to make a super cool sword attack. Wait, does the Prism Memory come with Extreme? I don't feel like I've seen that one before. Anyway, so they cut a huge hole into the alcohol dopant, and she loses all of her fluids. Then Kamen Rider does the W Extreme Rider Kick and destroys the memory. Super nice. So now the grandmother is just an old lady again, and the Rider boys tell her that they went easy on her because she's a senior citizen, and they thought that fighting an old lady was fucked up, so they just broke her memory and got it over with. Oh, and yeah, this feeds into what I was saying back in episode 7. It looks bad to be an old lady, so they just kind of ended it as fast as they could. Yeah, it's just a bad look for Kamen Rider W to be like beating up old crones on the street. Now, she's very touched by this, but she's also a sort of loser, so she orders the butler to firebomb her own house. What the fuck? Okay, time out. So her entire motivation was to preserve the family wealth and give her grandson a good life. But now she's blowing up his house, which contains all the family wealth, therefore making him homeless because she's just sore she lost a fight to Kamen Rider. Okay, whatever, old lady, you do you. Now your grandson's gonna be homeless and jobless and living on the streets. Oh, and the butler is way too down for this too. Look at this orgasm face he's making. He's like, oh, I cleaned this house for 40 years and I've dreamt of the day I would blow up its toilets. Finally! Did the butler, like, kamikaze himself? What happened to the butler? I don't know why they're doing this. Is it, like, some kind of weird sinister arrangement with Aurora or the museum gang from, like, some outstanding, like, deal? Anyway, even with the Gaia memory destroyed, she can still somehow use telekinesis, so she punches a big hole in the wall, tells everyone to escape, and then she tells Kuya that he has to get his own life now, and she throws him and Tokumi straight out the hole. Now, why'd she throw Tokumi too? Random. Anyway, so Kamen Rider does a Luna maximum drive to make a big bounce pad for everyone, and then Kamen Rider apologizes to Kuya and says his grandmother truly loves him, and that he really wanted his grandmother not to die. And then we get the eye catch, and the eye catch is Kamen Rider Axel. Oh shit, I completely forgot about Axel. Yeah, so meanwhile Axel is still fighting to the death against the Scream Dopant. Now her bubbly personality is very girlish and kind of ironic since it's a little bit similar to how Akiko behaves, but I'm sure that the Scream Dopant is not Akiko. That would be too insane a twist. Oh, and making her even more fucking creepy, she apparently Instagrams all her kills. Ugh, kids these days. Anyway, so Axel is still faster than the speed of sound, so he runs around her and they're fighting, and then Extreme shows up, and Axel says he still hasn't beaten her. And then we further pivot to this end boss stage because Brachiosaurus and Aurora shows up. Now, Aurora reveals at this point his real name is Yukichi Bando, which we knew before, but now we get confirmed that that's his real name. And he goes on to vaguely explain his plan to Kamen Rider, that he's trying to make a city. He also looks Tokumi in the eyes, but he doesn't talk to her directly, and then he henshins into Aurora before exiting. So now everything is like died down, there's no one else to fight, everyone goes back to the billiard hall. Philip has identified all the dopants in Aurora's gang from eye contact, and then he goes on to explain that he called to Rui to help them using Fang because Fang could run away, after deducing that the mansion had some kind of cell phone blockers in place. Shotaro isn't sure why they had cell phone blockers, so he randomly blames it on Museum. Philip concludes that Museum was probably just using the old gold mine to run human experiments, and Kuya, unfortunately, is not much help at all since his grandmother ran the business. Kuya never really figured out how the business worked for himself. Then Shotaro posits that Aurora was using the family's gold fortune to attract desperate and greedy women, which China Dress Girl admits to being one of. Shotaro also claims that the butler was definitely guilty somehow and was a willing accomplice. And yeah, what the fuck happened to the butler? I still don't know what happened to him. Did he die in the building fire like his grandmother? He seemed a lot younger than everyone else, so that's a little bit fucked up if he did go down in the fire. Philip also somehow additionally conjectures that the memory was programmed with some kind of light brainwashing program to make the women more easily change into violent, hostile monsters and make them more interested in both becoming monsters and marrying Kuya. Since it was somehow a contest about finding both the best bride and the best monster, they had to draw out the worst latent personality traits in the women to make them the most awful versions of themselves. So, okay, that actually explains a lot about the story arc and why the women were so awful. They were horrible because they were brainwashed to be like that. That is also why they instinctively used the Gaia memory when they found it, because I guess they were also programmed to do that. Now, Shotaro stops though and asks Kana why she got involved in this, because she's not a gold digger like the other three women. And Kana, unfortunately, isn't a gold digger, she's an old maid. She wasted too much of her adult life on a dead-end job, and she wanted to shake things up, find love, and get married to a rich guy easily. So that's why she entered the contest. Not because she was financially greedy, but because she had too much self-pity and was kind of lonely. But that really does mark her as completely different from the other three girls. So that's why she stood out and why Kuya chose her as the best girl. Because she was, like, genuinely looking for love and not money. Even if it was for different reasons. Anyway, she thanks Shotaro, they have a light romantic moment, and Tokimi and Akiko notice, so they're very critical of him for, like, flirting with, like, every single woman. Anyway, then the girls leave, and Kuya is still single. Shotaro asks him if he was really going to marry Kana, or any of the girls for that matter. Kuya decides that since he's lost his family fortune, he needs to prove himself as a man, he needs to get a job. So he's going to do that now. He also agrees to pay Shotaro and Phil for their work because that would be the honest thing to do, and Shotaro says that's cool. Kuya says he might eventually date Kana after he proves himself as a real man, which is hilarious because he's like 40. Shotaro is super impressed by all this manliness, so he takes him out for a drink after all this, but hilariously Kuya is straight edge, and all the things he have been drinking this entire arc have just been tea because it looks like alcohol because it's the same color. He's just trying to keep up appearances because this whole thing was so wacky. So yeah, everyone is like shocked by that because, oh no, a straight edge person in Japan, how crazy. And on top of that, yeah, if they had known he was straight edge, they could have easily like ruled him out as the alcohol dopant. Alright, so that's the end of the whole weird cosplay marriage game show storyline. After that, we transition to FUUTO Tower, which is like the best evil villain hotspot in town because you can see the whole town in there. And Aurora's gang is already up there being mad evil. Now, what I love about this shot is this is the first time you see the gang out of their dopant forms. And you see this big muscly guy, you see the gothic Lolita, you see this kid. I have to guess the kid is the Brachiosaurus because it just makes too much sense because kids love dinosaurs. And how ironic would it be that the biggest dopant is the littlest kid. I am shocked to see that Scream's true form is a goth Lolita though. She's kind of hot as goth Lolita, but Scream was such a bimbo that I thought her like true form would be more like a normal slutty lady. I wonder if she has some kind of split personality thing going and her human form would be like more shy and weird. I really didn't expect her to be a goth girl considering how like normal teenage girl her like dopant form was. Lastly, there's this big guy on the side. I guess he turns into the muscular fire smiley guy. I mean, that's the only one left, so it's gotta be him. Well, damn now, we have 4 more dopants to kill in 3 more episodes. It's gonna really start to turn up the heat on Kamen Rider W. Anyway, so this was episode 9. We get the end theme, we get sexy dancing, we get cats, we get My Fair Lady as the underground, and then after that we get a new SD short. Alright, so let's see what this one is. Oh, thank God it's an Akiko episode. Healing Princess Neo really completely wore out its welcome, and Akiko is the funniest character on the show, so I am happy to see her. Okay, so in this episode, Akiko randomly holds a drinking contest. Koyomi fails and immediately dies. The other girls also all die. Okay, lol. And then the butler comes back, and the butler weirdly easily wins the contest. Wow. Okay, good for him, I guess. Does this confirm he's still alive? I still don't know if he lived or died or not. Anyway, Philip reminds everyone to drink responsibly, and that's it. Alright, so yeah, this episode was the end of that arc, and everything leading up to the end of this episode is pointing us that Shotaro and Philip are going to spend the next 3 episodes just facing off against Aurora and his gang. The episode even ends with him being the final shot. Now, this is probably one of the most exciting cliffhangers the show has presented us with yet. And if the show is smart, Bando just tipped too much of his hand in this episode. So I want to say that Shotaro and Philip will just seek him out because they've seen his Gaia memories. They know Bando by name now. They can probably Google search him. I'm almost sure they're going to look into him, and Philip is probably already concocting strategies about how to destroy their memories. But if the show wants to really keep it exciting, maybe Bando will lead some kind of counter-strike against them first, before they can get him, get them first. Maybe he'll kidnap Akiko or Axel or something. Who knows? He might also kidnap Tokumi because he definitely is related to her. I'm a little bit worried that they might segue into another case. I mean, they could. There's definitely a way they could do this coolly, though. The coolest way they could do this is just if they made the last case the case of Tokumi's missing identity. I feel if they used Tokumi as a pivot point, that would work really well and keep the show focused. But if they don't do that, I think this last case will suck. If they bring in another random sob story off the streets, or it's like, oh no, my cat is missing, but also the Aurora Dopan and his armies of evil are up for the final battle at the same time. That would be completely ridiculous. So I really hope they don't do something stupid like that. Anyway, either way, I'm stoked to see what they do in the next episode and how this next arc develops, because I'm ready to wrap up this anime. It's been a great show, but frickin' Gundam The Witch from Mercury is coming out this month, and I'm super excited for that too. Alright guys, please stay subscribed. I only need 75 people to get monetized. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Did you expect more deaths? Did you expect Kuya to marry anyone? Did you see the grandmother twist coming? Because I saw it coming. Alright guys, catch you next week. Stay tuned. I'll be back. Good night.